Welcome to our Where's the Beef video series. I'm Tiffany Lashman, Extension Agricultural Law Specialist with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. We're excited to bring you this series of videos related to direct beef sales. Funding for this project was provided by the Southern Risk Management Education Center. As part of that funding, we really would appreciate you taking the time to fill out our evaluation. We'll have a link to the evaluation in the notes below. We'll also have a link and a QR code available at the beginning, middle, and end of each video. In order to fill out our grant reports and complete our grant funding, we really need results from these evaluations. So we are pleading with you, if you watch these videos, please take time to fill out the very quick, very short evaluation. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy our Where's the Beef video series.
Hi, I'm Stephen Little.
And I'm Amanda Little.
We own and run Little Cattle Co. right here in the heart of, actually on the outside of DFW in Argyle, Texas. We have cattle in Abilene, Texas, and then we're located here in Argyle. So I grew up with a grandpa that had cattle, and he would butcher a few every year and fill our freezer. And I enjoyed having that high quality meat that was raised by my family. And as he got older, he shut that operation down. And when Amanda and I had our first son, Brody, I was just really convicted about having to feed him grocery store beef. And so I partnered up with my uncle who has a cow-calf operation, and we started Little Cattle Co.
So back in 2017, when we started Little Cattle Co., we started selling by like halves and quarters. And then as we wanted to kind of go into like a full-blown business, we decided to sell retail cuts. So that's all that we do. We don't even have like, at this point, we don't have like set boxes. We do have a ground beef subscription that people are loving, but people can just shop how they would at a grocery store, just pick what steaks that they want, and then we ship to them each week. And we use social media a lot for our marketing, really organic growth. I do a lot of the videos just behind the scenes while we're packing and shipping, and it just kind of brings the customer into our operation and what we do here at our warehouse. And so that's kind of the main source, is just utilizing social media for sales. So we use Instagram a lot for short videos and social media for obviously organic growth and reach to people. But we've recently started a YouTube channel, which has been super fun, just kind of vlogging the day-to-day of building this business and running this business. We have our kids around. They're like partially homeschooled, so they're just really involved in this business with us, and it truly is like a family business. So we vlog that. So YouTube is like one way that we do that. We do email marketing as well. So we're growing our email list and sending out, tips and ways that people could cook certain cuts of meat if they're like not sure, like bone marrow bones. We sent out a email about that last week. It's like some people don't know what to do with that. So kind of educating the customer a little bit on that.
So we started selling 9 months ago, and we had 27 cuts. And so we had to do a lot of education around unique things like picanha and marrow bones and just different cuts that people weren't as familiar with. And while we were doing that, we were also educating people on what separates our ground beef and why you'd rather buy ground beef from a business like us that's processing single animals at a time versus getting ground beef from the grocery store. And what we actually created a good problem. We could not keep up with our ground beef subscription, and we were selling out of ground beef. And so we've actually taken a lot of the cuts that weren't moving as quickly, and we put those into our ground beef. And so it's a really high quality product now because there's a lot of steaks and roasts and things in that. But we went from about 27 SKUs to like 13. And so a lot more focus on the products that move quickly. A lot of the really, notorious, like the ribeye and notorious steaks, like the ribeye and the filet and the New York strip and the sirloin. Obviously we sell a lot of those. And we've put a lot of the other random stuff into the ground beef.
That's super interesting because most people have the hardest time getting rid of their ground beef, but y'all have like figured it out essentially to like where you can get rid of it.
Well,
and have a subscription with it.
When we started, that was something that Steven said a lot in the beginning. He was like, this is typically a weak point for this type of company, is that you end up with so much ground beef that you can't manage inventory.
We learned this from the Where's the Beef program.
Yes, And so that was something that he was really determined to like make it, instead of it being a pain point, be like a really, work in our favor, but also for everybody else.
And the first couple months we did have, like, we had to buy an extra freezer just to store the extra ground beef that wasn't moving. And so that was an issue up front, but we started, like, every order that came through that didn't buy ground beef, we put 1 pound in with a card giving details about what makes it different and why they should try it. And so we did spend a lot of money giving away free ground beef up front. Like I said, we printed some really beautiful cards that had a lot of information on them. We did a lot of videos on our Instagram and just explaining why people wanted to eat ground beef from a local place like ours.
Everybody has said is once they've tried it, they are like, can noticeably taste the difference and they don't want to go back. So it's just kind of an education process.
Yeah. So it's definitely several months to educate the consumers, let them try it, and then let them get convinced of it. We actually have our ground beef priced at a premium, and so it took some time to get the consumers used to it, but they realized it's worth paying a few extra dollars a pound to have a high quality ground beef, also ground beef that tastes much better.
From the beginning, we've always been really intentional about like taking care of the customer, and really we write handwritten notes in every single order. We want them to feel like they're buying from, because they are, but like a family operation, a small operation. We are a small business. We are a family operation, and so our kids will sign cards, like we will, whoever packs the order.
Try to be real intentional and personal with those cards, like, thank you for placing your second order with us. We notice it and appreciate you. Things like that.
Just that little extra thing where I think people in a mass like produced world, like they kind of appreciate going back to the basics of like, we know who we're buying from.
We don't have any kind of a loyalty program in place, but we will run random sales. And that also keeps people watching our Instagram, and it keeps people watching their emails from us, where we will offer like a 48-hour flash sale. So it's pretty quick.
Or we'll do a gift with purchase.
Yep, gift with purchase. Like we did, we've done some cool things around different holidays, giving different, like a koozie or something like this. That
we did marrow bones last week was the gift with purchase.
Yeah. And so really building that up. I mean, we've been selling for 9 months, and we have our best customer has now placed 22 orders with us, which is crazy. And then there's a lot of customers that have done, there's a handful that have done like 16 orders, 15 orders, and then a bunch of like 10, 9, and 8 orders, reorders. And so that's a really, it's just shown that we have been able to build a loyalty with our customer base. I think there's a couple factors in that. One is our Instagram, of really letting them feel like they get a look inside of a little bit of the ranching that takes place, a lot of what happens in the operations of the business and packing orders. And so people feel like they are connected with us as a company. And then I think the other option is we do a local pickup once a week. And so a lot of our customers come here to pick up the meat. And really, I believe a lot of them, it's the experience of getting to, whether it's 2 minutes or 30 minutes, getting to sit here and talk, and then who knows what we end up talking about, whether it's beef or working out or Jesus. We end up in these long conversations, and I think that people really like to support us that way, because they enjoy just the community that's built around Little Cattle Co.
So on YouTube, we share like behind the scenes stuff, day in the life stuff of the operation, but then we also have plans for recipe videos and all this stuff that we've been talking about. And so we're planning to start sending out more. He's a great cook. He loves to cook. And so I think him doing some videos on, steaks and meal prepping and all these kinds of things that we just do for our family is going to be a big part of our YouTube channel. Like I said, we just started that within the last month or so. So we're going to keep building that up and adding new value pieces to that as well.
I think so far the focus on that channel has been kind of more entertainment, just to look in what's going on behind the scenes. But we definitely will take a moment to give a little bit of educational stuff. Like we explained how we showed in one of the early videos us weighing steers, because we buy our steers from my uncle in his cow-calf operation with his partner. And so shows us weighing them on the scales and explaining the breakdown on how, you buy cattle by weight, and it kind of giving a little bit of insight to that most people have probably never even heard or know, that is our typical customer base, that they're not educated on how you even would purchase cattle and how it's done by weight. And so, giving little insights into the industry like that. When I started selling quarters and halves in 2017, It was just a really small thing for friends and family so that we could start to learn the industry and fill our personal freezers. And the feedback was so good that we realized, hey, there's something here. Maybe we could grow this into something that looks more like a business. And so in 2019, I set out to do that pretty aggressively. And I was trying to figure out the rules and the laws of where do I store beef, how do I store beef, how do I sell it, and I could not figure it out. I mean, I spent hours and hours and hours online, hours and hours on hold trying to talk to people at the Capitol and trying to figure out, am I dealing with the FDA or the USDA? And I couldn't get straight answers on anything, to the point that I didn't go forward with growing or scaling Little Cattle Co. at that point, and I just kind of kept it what it was, and my other businesses kept me busy at the time. And so then in 2021, we really felt like that was the time. We really felt the Lord was leading us to get started with Little Cattle Co. And so I got online, and the dreaded hunt for the laws, and I found Where's the Beef right away, ebook, and downloaded it, started reading it, and I was telling Amanda, I'm like, every question I've had is answered right here. And I actually got on there and I went to order I called into the office to order a physical copy, and they told me about the Where's the Beef seminars. And so we came out to a couple of those now, and every single thing we needed to know about slaughter facilities and all the legality around this business was put out very simply. And the seminars are great because you get to meet the actual Where's the Beef people that are running it, and also you get to meet other producers and people that are either successfully selling or trying to get started. And so it's just a great mastermind, if you will. But that program showed me very plainly that the model that we chose, which was a shipping model and a retail cuts model, we needed a USDA inspected facility. And so we have that, and we've had great relationships with our processor. It took some time finding it because we needed to find someone that was inspected, but also small, but also skilled enough to do some of the stuff we wanted done with our meat. And then also a business that had enough availability that we could be flexible, being a young company, and kind of get a couple spots last minute, or have that flexibility with the processor. Part of our choice for selling retail cuts versus wholes and halves is I couldn't make the numbers work to run a full business on wholes and halves. Now, I know a lot of producers use it as like an extra income source, and that's very productive for them. But to run a whole business, I just couldn't understand how that would be feasible, selling in bulk like that. And so we knew we needed to sell retail cuts to be able to run and operate a full business around that model. So I just looked at a lot of the competitors, a lot of the companies that I've followed, some of the bigger people in our space, and looked at their pricing and just determined that what people would buy it for. And honestly, I remember when we launched, I was nervous because I felt like our prices were high. And I was like, I'm not sure that anyone's going to buy this. But the market's shown us that they will. Now, as we've gone forward, we are reconsidering some of the pricing just because everything is so expensive right now. Even just the cost of cattle is so expensive. And so, I think that's something we're always evaluating. We haven't made any shifts with it, but it's something we're always evaluating is how do we need to be structuring our sales, or with different programs like the ground beef subscription we have. We always have the intent too of passing on the best value to the customer while selling a premium product.
So the platform we use to do all of our inventory and kind of run everything through our website is Shopify. It's been really amazing. Shopify is super user friendly. You get in there, and I think if you were to use that site, you'd be blown away by all of the analytics and everything that you can go in there and see. You can run all kinds of reports for just your customers and what their activity is, abandoned carts. There's a million things that you can do. So we've been really happy with Shopify. We type in all of our inventory. It keeps track for everything for us when we get all of our beef, in. So it's been a good platform for us to use, and it's worked great.
We actually utilize Shopify's shipping as well, and that was something we learned from a Where's the Beef fellow producer. And she taught us to utilize Shopify's shipping option because it's steady rates that are consistent, and they're greatly discounted instead of going and finding like a UPS shipping rep, because those rates are going to fluctuate every 14 weeks based on volume, and it's inconsistent for your customers. And so we have found a lot of success using Shopify's kind of built-in shipping. And so we ship through UPS, but we just do it through Shopify's bulk plan, and it's worked very well for us. So when we got started, we had absolutely no clue. I didn't know if I was going to sell 10 steaks the first month or 1,000 steaks the first month. And so we had to just take a complete guess at what we were doing. And so, we tried to have enough that if we kind of went viral, that we could sustain that, but also not so much that we'd get ourselves in financial trouble. I think too, if you're managing it properly, like the way we are, we go in and we buy our cattle from, my uncle. And when you're buying those animals, you can always take those and sell those live animals. So, you just have to play with that market and what that looks like for you. I think it's going to be customized to everyone. How much marketing power are you putting into it? Is it purely just word of mouth in your area, or are you trying to send product all over the country? We're lucky, and we do have one business partner in Little Cattle Co., and he has a pretty good presence online from what he's done in his past. And so, our very first week, we shipped beef to Maine, Washington, San Diego, and Florida. So it was all 4 corners of the country, and it was a total of 16 states total, but the 4 corners of the country, which was neat. And so, our goal immediately was to ship beef all over the country. And so we wanted to have enough to be able to get it out there. So this will expand. I just broke it out of the package, and it'll expand in about 1.5 inch foam, and then it seals. So we ship using dry ice, especially being out of Texas in summertime. We found dry ice is by far the safest bet versus using like gel packs or anything like that. We've really had good luck with our dry ice. Everyone's favorite, the tomahawk steak. Couple boneless ribeyes. Here's one of my favorite unique cuts, the tablitas, or like short ribs that are cut cross section with the open bone. It's like traditionally it's a Mexican cut. It's really, really neat though. Anyone that's never had it that tries them, it's a big fan favorite. Cool. Amanda, this one has a body butter, a tallow body butter if you want to grab it. It is a unscented. I never trust that little seal completely. Do you have tape?
So for shipping beef, we usually always have like an assembly line going. I typically get the boxes set up and fill them with the insulators. He prints all the shipping labels, goes through the orders, figuring out how much dry ice we need for each package depending on where it's going, and then we both begin to fill orders and box them up. We usually have music playing, and it's like a super fun time, but we always ship earlier in the week. So Wednesday is like the latest that we would ever really ship out, so that our beef doesn't get tied up over the weekends and the shipping system.
We normally only ship on Mondays.
Yes.
So on our website, when you purchase, it says that we ship on Mondays, and that's our standard operating procedure. But like, for example, on a holiday weekend, we might ship on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, depending on what's going on. If we have a ton of orders, we might ship Monday and Tuesday, break them up.
So just something to consider if you're planning to ship beef, you just want to like get it out earlier in the week.
So I think the biggest obstacle so far has been, or the biggest unknown has just been truly the expense to the whole operation. I think no matter how much money you have, you could always use some more. And so I think everything from, the cattle prices to care for the cattle to processing to a facility to store your food in, the price of even things like shipping containers. If you're going to ship meat, you have to, there's dry ice cost and there's box cost and there's insulator costs, and I think all those factors, they just add up, and whatever you pencil it out to be, it's going to be more.
Well, and really, when you first start, a lot of those numbers are you're kind of like guessing a little bit and you're kind of estimating, but then once you really get into it, you start to really refine those numbers and really be able to see, okay, this is actually what everything cost. And so I think that's been a big thing for me. I think in this business, the biggest thing that I feel like really taken away from it is like not being scared to pivot. I think that you can start in one lane and think it's going to look a certain way, and then as you get into it and you really see how it shakes out, you go, okay, like I think for me there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you don't have to do it the way that everybody else is doing it, because everyone's setup and situation is different. So being able to look at your personal business and say, okay, what's working, what's like not working, and what do we need to kind of readjust and reevaluate. And that's what we've done. We've even recently just launched into tallow, which has been so much fun. For me, it's kind of been like a little bit of a passion project. Our business partners, his wife and I have been working on formulas and testing things, and it's been awesome.
Tallow skincare.
Skincare, yes. So we just launched that on like a couple days ago, and it's been so great already. We're shipping out some of our first orders this week of that. But so far we've launched lip balm and body butter, and just really like the feedback I've gotten from people of all the things that it's helped with has been insane to me. It's like a miracle cream, but also it's really cool to use up more parts of the animal and really utilize everything that we can from the animal. We talk about just stewarding what God's given us with these animals and this business, and it's been just a really fun angle as well, and that also brings in more revenue because you already have the suet from the cows, and so it's just bringing in another way. So that's kind of what I mean whenever you're looking at your business and you're saying, okay, how can we also look at these other streams of income to kind of help build this thing out and create more eyes on your product.
That's it. What we've also seen is it's opening up already a whole demographic. Like some of it, we have a mixed bag of customers, male and female, but some of the just male beef customers have all of a sudden their wives are ordering from us, skincare in the last week or two. And so it's just neat to see that, I think you always have to keep the main thing. Like when pivoting, you can't make massive, or at least we haven't shown, we think that you shouldn't make massive pivots. And so adding this, like we're still doing what we do with the beef, but adding this just opens up a whole new demographic, and we hope to sell beef to tallow customers, and to tallow skincare customers, we hope to sell beef. One piece of advice I have would be to not price your product too cheap. I think a lot of people that I've heard coming to some of the different Where's the Beef seminars, they have, and just being around other producers, they're real concerned about being the cheapest product. I've heard a lot of language, a lot of conversation about being cheaper than the grocery store. And I would not set that to be your model. I'm all for, if you have the ability with your business to pass on a great deal to your client, I'm all for that. But if you're in this business, you're offering a premium product. If you're raising your own animals, you're taking care of them, you're getting it processed at a small facility with care, you are offering a premium product, and so you should seriously consider pricing your meat at a premium. because we know how much work goes into this business, the ranching aspect, the business aspect. There's so much time, effort, and energy that goes into it. And when you deliver a high quality product, your customers will see that and they'll want to support it, and they'll be willing to pay the right price for the right product. And so I would just recommend, don't be shy about your pricing. You don't need to be the cheapest meat on the market. There's no reason to compete with the mass grocery stores and all the bulk warehouses. I would just recommend that you really consider your pricing before you put it out there.
Hey guys, today we are filming with the Texas A&M AgriLife crew over here. They were such a big help to us when we were starting Little Cattle Co. We found the book, Where's the Beef? And Stephen's been to multiple seminars, and it just was so helpful for us when we were trying to figure out all the legal stuff and how to even start this business. And so today we are hanging with these guys, and it's been so fun having them here at our warehouse.
If you want to come check us out, look at what we're doing, or buy some beef, you can check us out at www.littlecattle.co. So that's .co, just like our name. And on Instagram, we're Little Cattle Co. as well. So come check us out. We'll be happy to interact with you, answer any questions. We know the Where's the Beef program has been so crucial in our success and us getting started, and even the community of other producers just having open arms towards us and answering all kinds of questions. And so we found this community and this industry to be extremely inclusive, and so we want to extend that same offer to you.